All my days is about to start, you know. It's your boy back on your screens again. Sam JJ4 Jr. I will explain later. I promise you, one day I will explain. Not now though. Not in the next probably 10 years. I don't know. But yeah, another Louaista reaction video. Why hip hop? I just like to call it hip hop. Hip hop. Why do people actually say hip hop? Hip hop. Is that it's spelled H-I-P-H-O-P, not H-I-P-P-O-P? Hip hop. Hip hop. When you say slowly, is it still hip hop? And the hip hop just always sounds better, but it's hip hop. Well, they should just change the whole name then, because no one says hip hop. Why are we hipping and hopping? Because like that, the name of this genre just doesn't represent who the people in the genre are at all. Can't lie. I mean, the genre started with like hippity hop. Yeah, I'm just shut up, bro. I don't even know what I'm talking about, bro. Like, comment, subscribe, and I would love you for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Since its formation in 2008, Roc Nation has been a cornerstone of the modern music industry. These days, the label, which was launched with J. Cole as its inaugural signee, has gone on to become so much more than just another company.
Oh no. Oh no. Can I zoom in? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. We do not like those.
A sprawling empire with over 20 different divisions, the conglomerate which plays host to or manages artists such as Rihanna, Megan Thee Stallion, Pusha T, and many more, are a true force in modern entertainment. But throughout that rise, they've been stalked by accusations of some pretty shady business tactics. In some cases, even by the very people that they helped propel to stardom.
So tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you. A really good audition. Yes. But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. Yeah. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you. Oh yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said,
I hear that though.
There are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Floor. So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
But where comments like this were brushed aside, recent weeks and months have seen an influx of new evidence that behind the corporate facade, they are moving in a way that's pretty devious. Just ask some of the people who have dared to get in their way.
I'm gonna tell you about Jay-Z. He's the most sensitive motherfucker on the planet, and he can't take niggas in his comments telling him the truth. Okay?
It's your boy Louaista, and this is why Roc Nation is bullying.
I don't like that. What
First,
do you call that?
let's
Just
set
your
the scene.
sign.
Since his days as an MC, Jay-Z has always been hard-headed in a way that accumulated many enemies, famously declaring that he can't leave rap alone, the game needs me, haters want to be clapped in chrome, it ain't easy. Jay has weathered beefs with rappers like Nas and Mobb Deep, while also enduring business dealings going sour with people like his former Rockefeller partner Dame Dash. Among all these different scenarios, he's found himself
Isn't it crazy how bad people that beef have collaborated before? I mean, like, I guess, you know what I'm saying, just because we've collaborated, just because we do business doesn't mean we should be friends, but like, I don't know, man, especially as a youth, I was just like, but they've made a song together, so why are they beefing? I was always asking that question, but that's just me, innit? Is this dark? Boy, I don't know, man. Bro, I just can't tell, man, because like the monitor, even looking at the monitor is odd. Oh my god.
Engaged in. One thing has become very, very clear. Sean is not a man to be trifled with, particularly when it comes to his cash flow.
I mean, everybody knows Jay ain't shit. Like, that, everyone knows that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but does that surprise you at all? Because that seems particularly shady.
Listen, if you ask anyone in the industry, it's a common knowledge that Jay ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Define
like,
ain't shit for our audience.
He's about the bag. You know, we all know that. It's about, he's self-preserving, period. Like, you know, it's just that the people he does it to don't have, like, Beyonce next to him. They don't have that kind of a power. But, you know, this dude here, everyone's looking. You know, he do that shit to me with girls. Like, you know, he'll be like, you know, I'll be talking to a chick and I'll be like, yo, you should ask me to do this, that, and the third. And he'd be like, I wouldn't do it. And then the next day he's wifed her. And I'd be like, oh, that's some funny shit.
Right.
By all accounts, the man who once stabbed Juan Un Rivera for reportedly bootlegging his album retains this ruthlessness in the business world. However, he couldn't do it all single-handedly, and among his most trusted lieutenants is Roc Nation's CEO.
Yeah, I know about you now.
And these days, she's getting implicated in just as many of these industry beefs as he is. A former club promoter who booked Jay-Z back in the day, Desiree has a little of a checkered past, and allegedly churned federal informant in 1994 when Perez was arrested and faced drug, firearm, and grand larceny charges. Years later, Desiree, who is married to Roc Nation Sports CEO Juan Perez, was pardoned by Trump's White House, with the government agency claiming that since her conviction, Ms. Perez has taken full accountability for her actions and has turned her life around. She has been gainfully employed and has been an advocate for criminal justice reform in her community. But if you ask one of these major critics of Roc Nation, she is every bit as conniving as she was back in the day. Out of all the people who've been intent on revealing the true nature of Roc Nation, few of them have taken on the task with passion and perseverance as Nicki Minaj. Although they were once occasional collaborators, Jay-Z and Nicki had been at odds for a while. Recently, she disputed his treatment of Lil Wayne in the midst of him being denied the Super Bowl halftime show, taking up for her mentor.
That was the only thing that Jay-Z didn't do wrong, fam, bro. Including Lil Wayne, the people crying and complaining about that. Bro, man up, fam. Can't lie, bro. It's more than just being in the city, being from the city that the Super Bowl is being held at. And yeah, I get he's like the obvious biggest and greatest to come out in New Orleans, but still it's more than that, bro. What did he do in 2024 that was groundbreaking, that would make people want to watch the Super Bowl? Just because of the performance, because the performance has become an integral and iconic part of the performance, so they have to think about that strategically. And the obvious, the clearest choice was Lamar. K-Dot, man, come on, bro. The original Dot. That's what I like to call him. He might not be the original Dot, but I also like to call him that. You get me? So yeah, because his name was K-Dot before Kendrick Lamar. You heard that first here. And if you actually did hear that first here, you are not tapped in at all. Okay? Listen to more rap.
Claiming that he had been snubbed, then went on to claim via her often chaotic station head account that he has been limiting her from reaching her full financial potential.
Jay-Z has exhibited signs of envy, jealousy, hate, and stopping bags behind the scenes, allegedly. Why is it always the same story? So that means Nas made all of that stuff up. DMX made all of that stuff up. He was beefing for a minute with 50, with Dame and Dipset.
Yo, this face on
and
the
isn't
screen,
it interesting how many views, even if
is this like a radio show? Like, what do you even call radio station? Like, this is like a radio station. Sometimes she's screaming, sometimes she's got this tone that's given eerie. Yeah, I'm saying curious.
Females that he's allegedly been behind as well.
Among her claims is that due to her early involvement in Tidal, due to being one of the 15 artists gifted a 3% stake in the streaming service at its 2015 launch, and others, Jay-Z owes her a whole boatload of cash. According to her, she was offered $1 million for her share after the company was sold to Jack Dorsey Square for $302 million in 2021. For that reason, Nicki has asked him to provide the money she feels he's unfairly withholding. We've calculated about $100 to $2 million so far. Jay-Z, call me to settle this karmic debt. It's only collecting more interest. You still in my top 5 though. But when it comes to the heat between them, this is merely a fraction of a larger problem. Because whenever she gets a chance, she'll go off on Jay and the CEO Desiree, maintaining that they're actively trying to settle.
Wait, this moment, who was she talking to again? Was it Taylor? Taylor was good.
Watch her career and the online presence of her audience. They came begging the queen for a tour and album, and I said nope, LMFAO. I wanted to patch it up. They needed help from the Queen and the Barbs. I called the Barbs on the secret Barb phone, and it was recording.
Barbs.
Just like the casino.
Secret
Jay-Z, let me
Barb
find out you gonna let Desiree take the fall alone. Minaj continued. I don't blame you. That ugly ass hoe. Bitch gon' snitch anyway. You might as well beat her to it. Conspiracy,
Snitch
false
anyway.
imprisonment, civil rights violations. Run! From there, she concluded, okay, I'm not going to put out the album anymore. No more music. Hope you're happy now, Jay-Z. Bye, Barbs. Love you for life. And whenever there's scrutiny on them in recent months, Nicki has been on hand to engage in it, recently celebrating their inability to get a casino license. Hearing Desiree Perez talk about how she was begging for 40 million and was told no, oh broke nation, how'd you go so fucking broke? And she's not content to stop there, even leveling big accusations at them that they basically destroyed both entertainment and sports in one fell swoop. Dear Jay-Z and Desiree, you ruined hip-hop, ruined football, ruined basketball, and ruined touring. The jig is up.
Insta and
According to
Twitter.
her, the entire company is nefariously pulling strings and doing everything they can to detract from the controversies that continue to surround them. Anytime Cook Nation's in the news for something they don't want you to know, a few things will happen. Will Smith will appear, a famous person is announced dead, and their allies will begin to post/say nasty things about the Queen. Naturally, everything Nicki says as of late has been taken with a real pinch of salt, as, to put it mildly, she's been crashing out for a while now. However, the notion of the upper management mistreating people whose usefulness has elapsed or dared to question them is nothing new. In these days, the case studies are beginning to stack up. When it comes to Roc Nation kicking people to the curb once their cultural currency has expired or getting in their way, one man who certainly springs to mind is Colin Kaepernick. Perhaps best known at this point.
Like, his story is the weirdest I've ever heard of, bro. Like what? Call like Jay-Z, bro. Bro, you're questionable for that, fam. When I heard this story, I couldn't believe it, bro. I'm like, what?
For his famous decision to kneel during the national anthem that got him expelled from the NFL, Colin Kaepernick basically became a civil rights figure. And to begin with, Jay seemed to be firmly on his side of his principled stance to protest against police brutality.
Would you have said, do it, don't do it? What would you have counseled the brother?
Oh, 100% do it. I mean, look how many people play football. They're not all gonna be him. Like, you just put his name next to Muhammad Ali. Would you rather be playing football, getting your head dinged in, or would you rather be an iconic figure for the rest of your life? A job that I think people, again, we confuse the idea of having a job with fulfilling your purpose.
Or at least he did until a bag was at stake. Just 2 years on from making those comments in favor of Cap, Jay-Z decided to cross the cultural picket line and sign a multi-year deal to produce the Super Bowl halftime via Roc Nation as their entertainment strategist.
Because there's two parts of protesting. You go outside and you protest, and then the company or the individual say, I hear you. What do we do next?
We have cops that are murdering people. We have cops in the SFPD that are blatantly racist. And those issues need to be addressed.
For me, it was like actionable item. What are we gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying? So, reach millions and millions of people, or we get stuck on Colin not having a job.
Jay-Z partnered with the National Football League, the same mega corporation that employs those involved in murder, domestic violence, and countless other offenses, but sees a disproportionate issue at hand with silently taking a knee on the sidelines. What struck me was this.
That journalist, he just cooked right now.
Partnered with the National Football League, the same mega corporation that employs those involved in murder, domestic violence, and countless other offenses, but sees a disproportionate issue at hand with silently taking a knee on the sidelines. What struck me was this.
I like that journalist.
Okay, I think we passed kneeling.
And immediately, this went down like a ton of bricks with both Cap and his supporters.
I'm glad the
Years on,
footage came
Jay
out.
has retained this position, and many people have essentially forgotten about the entire controversy. However, Colin's wife, Nessa Diab, is not.
And that's what they're counting on, bro. That's why they're gonna keep on doing whatever they want. To be fair, live life how you want to and don't care what anyone says, innit? Yeah, man, but then the wrong people live exactly like that, which isn't a bad way to live, but they're just doing bad things and living by that. So it's like, do you want to be preaching stuff like that? Bro, it's just, everything's a contradiction, bro, genuinely, man.
One of them. And in her opinion, the situation unveiled Jay's true nature.
Yes, I might not like what Jay-Z did, but guess what I don't do? Go out of my way to not play his songs on my show. No, I'm not spiteful. I don't try to harm people. I don't do smear campaigns behind the scenes.
And don't take away from his artist.
I don't ever do that. We're clear. Jay's one of the best to do what he does. Also, what he did to Colin was absolutely wrong.
And once hip-hop's queen began taking shots at Jay and co, Nessa launched another assault and got into the sordid details about how they suppressed Kaepernick and his message at the request of the NFL. At Nicki Minaj exposing the smear campaign tactics that Jay-Z, Roc Nation, Desiree Perez did to her behind the scenes is very similar to what I was told they did to Kaepernick. When Jay purposely co-opted Colin's protest by siding with the NFL to help their image after they blackballed Colin for his protest.
Roc Nation, bro, what? Some companies do the most to look racially inclusive, diverse. Other companies do this. Oh my god, this world, bro. This world, human beings, everything's a contradiction.
Nation apparently took $5 million a year over 5 years to bury the growing protests and specifically help them move beyond the controversy around teams' unwillingness to sign Kaepernick. She continued. Desiree even said, "We love that everybody wants to be on stage, that we've completely changed the conversation to fighting for it versus boycotting. We've come a long way." She got her pardoned by Trump. No coincidence the NFL owners are his buddies and also donated millions to his campaign. These allegations won't sit well with the higher ups at Roc Nation, particularly because they try their best to maintain an image as a socially conscious company. But it's by no means the first time that they adopted a man associated with the cause before disposing of them over time. During the drama surrounding Meek Mill's prison sentence for a probation violation, Jay-Z and Roc Nation were very active in the attempts to free him.
How did you get into his life? How do you know about this? And what are you doing for people who may fall prey to this?
We manage him currently, like right now. You know, this judge felt the need to violate him for two to 4 years for two things. One, he was shooting a video and he was riding a motorcycle and doing wheelies. And two, there was a guy who asked him for an autograph, and he was like, "Man, I'm leaving. I got a flight. I'm leaving." And the guy got mad and started hitting his friend, so he pulled the guy off his friend. And case got dismissed in that because they had the camera and they saw that, oh, he didn't start any trouble. He was actually trying to leave. The guy hitting his friend's friend is a little guy who actually had a head injury. So guys.
As a signee of Roc Nation management, it benefited everyone for Meek to be back out. And by the time he re-emerged, the Philly rapper was repositioned from street MC to a campaigner for the penal system to be overhauled. Once he was released, Jay and Meek originally seemed inseparable, as they strived ahead to not only kickstart the rapper's career once more, but also gave birth to the Reform Alliance, an organization which campaigns for fair prison sentences. But where they were once seen together on a regular basis, this has majorly decreased. Coincidentally, it seemed like the distance was formed after public perception of Meek seriously faltered following a series of L's.
Meek rapping about Amiris, and 80 bands. He's playing tennis with some white guy, and all of a sudden I see
your buddy hops, Meek, because you got your ass beat in tennis.
Look how they talking to him.
You got your ass beat. Keep going. Count out loud.
Damn. Count out loud, nigga.
Count out loud.
This is crazy, yo.
I don't even think any black rapper could talk to Meek like this.
By 2022, Meek left the Roc Nation management umbrella, but insisted it wasn't due to any bad blood and that they were consulted on the best path for all parties to take. All I seen today was Meek and Roc part ways. I'm personally handling my own business so I can take a risk and grow. We came to that agreement together. I have a label deal with Roc for my artist, and many other investments with Jigga, and Roc Nation is my family. Don't mix my post aimed at Atlantic mixed up with Roc or MMG. They ain't stopped nothing I'm doing. We made about 100 million together. Dez, Mike, and Hove saved my life before, and put a lot of energy into it. I'm not behind on my favors in life with my people. I'm good. But while both parties insist that there's no bad blood, the fact remains that they are now seldom seen together, and at this point, it feels like Meek is cast to the side with every further indignity.
It sounds like, hey, we have grand plans to build this whole thing behind Meek Mill, and our first start is prison reform. And after that, we're going to push you mute, we're going to do all this other shit. And they never really had no intent in doing that. They just got what they needed out of the moment, and they moved on.
I'm with you. See, I would agree, like I said, if he didn't get something out of that.
And I ain't gonna lie, it's another one where I want to know the Meek Hove story.
Yeah, there's something there, bro. For Hove to say, I could never beef with him, I freed him from a whole bit. For him to even feel he needed to address it and say it in that manner, it's something, dog. He just saying, yo, I can't beef with, he can't beef with me.
Considering their focus on money over morality, it really shouldn't be particularly shocking that they chose to favor their brand over the potential ill effects of being caught up in a scandal. So when one of their clients was in some legal trouble, they promptly wanted to get out of the line of fire without actively defending their roster member. The man in question is Fat Joe, with the legendary Terror Squad artist being sued for some very unsavory things by his former hype man, Terrence T.A. Dixon. Amid a laundry list of charges, Joe is accused of coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion, not to mention a situation with an underage individual. Defendant was in love with Minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid all Minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife, the lawsuit states. In a recorded conversation, Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin describe in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was. But alongside Fat Joe, another defendant that was listed was none other than Roc Nation. And without hesitation, they sought to untangle themselves, no matter how much it might harm their client's defense. Roc Nation's alleged role in this case, according to the plaintiff himself, is that it became Mr. Cartagena's artist management company in 2017, and in that capacity, earned the commission on revenue Mr. Cartagena generated, writes Roc Nation's lawyer Alex Spiro. Yet, according to the plaintiff, the fact that Roc Nation had a business relationship with Mr. Cartagena somehow makes Roc Nation a part of a RICO enterprise, as well as a participant in sex trafficking, and an aider and abettor of Mr. Cartagena's alleged conduct. That is nonsensical. Here, we see the lengths that Roc Nation will go to preserve the company's well-being, even if it's at the expense of one of the people they're supposed to represent. But according to the organization's critics, the problem isn't simply that they'll throw their allies over to the side when it's tactically wise to do, but that they will hold serious grudges when they believe they've been wronged. Even though Nicki Minaj has been the most outspoken Young Money label alumni to come after Jay, Desiree, and Roc Nation, there is another one of Lil Wayne's proteges who have reason to take issue with how they move. Because if speculation is to be believed, they've been spending time trying to take Drake out. Over the course of Drake's time in the spotlight, Jay has occasionally had bars for him over the years, spitting things like this in his direction. I know you ain't out here talking numbers, right? I know you ain't out here talking summers, right? I know you ain't walking around talking down, saying boss shit when you a runner, right? But for the most part, they've ultimately seemed cordial, collaborating on tracks ranging from the Blueprint 3s Off That through to Talk Up on Scorpion. However, the belief is that there's some grievances that have yet to be resolved on Jay's part, and these issues stem back to the formation of Tidal. When Jay-Z first began to unveil the Roc Nation affiliated streaming service known as Tidal, Drake was intended to be one of the original 16 artist partners who appeared alongside him. But things didn't go to plan and he stayed away, only for it to later be revealed that Apple Music paid Drake $19 million for an exclusive contract. From there, things got a little nasty, like claiming that Drake had been prohibited from appearing on the live stream during Lil Louisiana Fest under a threat of a $20 million lawsuit. However, Drizzy's team combated this, claiming that nothing of the sort happened. The decision to not have Drake participate in the Tidal stream has nothing to do with Apple or Drake's deal. Point blank, 100%. I made a business decision, Drake's manager, Future the Prince, told BuzzFeed News. Apple doesn't have the power to stop us from being part of a live stream. The only people that have that power to do so are Cash Money and Universal, and they're our partners. Unable to control Drake in the way that he wished to, there are some who feel that Jay and Roc Nation have held a grudge over the whole thing. As little as 3 years ago, the normally cautious Jay was caught lurking on Twitter, liking a tweet from Mark Lamont Hill on the subject of his wordplay about Megan Thee Stallion on Circo Loco, which read, "If Drake released a song with clever wordplay that mocked the shooting of a male rapper, or any man of that matter, the same people defending him would be outraged. But of course, he would never do that." Although this was likely a shock, Funk Flex believes that he is more active online than you realize. The only reason he plays it subtly is because he can't take the criticism.
I'm gonna tell you about Jay-Z. You know you want me to tell you why he can't be on social media?
Why?
Because he's the most sensitive motherfucker on the planet, and he can't take niggas in his comments telling him the truth. Oh, what? Okay?
This guy's so close to my face, man.
He can't open up social media. You know what Jay does? He watches social media from a fake page.
When it comes to Rock's issues with Drake, there are some who believe it goes a whole lot deeper, because apparently it didn't simply harbor secret disdain, but actively tried to undermine him. Instead, there are some who believe that Rock Nation has actually waged a long-standing campaign with various pawns. For one thing, there are theories that Meek was one of those soldiers sent out to bring him down. Considering that Meek leaked Drake's ghostwriting reference tracks just 1 month after the whole title scandal, there has been a suggestion that this was an orchestrated move made to try and kill Drizzy dead in his tracks. And apparently, Drake worked this out.
Yeah. Okay, since y'all are playing Double Dutch, 30 for 30 freestyle.
Yeah.
When everyone thought he was talking about Meek, he was clearly talking about Hove. So stop double dutching.
Talking about what?
Hove. He's talking about Jay-Z on that. I think the powers that be that were not added into this go as high as Hove and what the strategy was with this entity that Drake was that took over the music industry. And I think they saw this as an opportunity to try to lower the light of somebody that had completely taken over.
Drake is another student of the game. He knows and sees and watches everything. So when Meek first tweeted it, before he name dropped, Meek tweeted a month or 6 weeks earlier than that, these niggas don't write their raps. Something.
Pusha had made note. So Kendrick had made note. There was rumblings.
But when that didn't work, there was a belief that the latest attempt came through none other than Kendrick Lamar in his war on Drizzy that led to one of the most legendary beefs in the genre's history. Whether or not he was involved at the outset, it seemed obvious that Jay was happy about the result, enlisting him to perform at the Super Bowl and singing his praises along the way. Kendrick Lamar is a truly once-in-a-generation artist performer.
This beef has been long-standing, but Kendrick really hates him. Yeah, Kendrick ain't partner on this.
Jay-Z said of the 17 Grammy Award winner, his deep love for hip-hop and culture informs his artistic vision. He has an unparalleled ability to define and influence culture globally. Kendrick's work transcends music, and his impact will be felt for years to come. And sure enough, Kendrick then used the halftime show to defame Drizzy on the biggest rap stage possible. Beyond that now legendary performance, there is a sense that Jay did whatever he could to defend Kendrick's decision to basically just suggest that Drake isn't of hip-hop culture. This led to Michael Eric Dyson's showdown with his very good friend Jay-Z after the famed academic went off on Dot over his attempts to shift the narrative around Drizzy.
Drake is being indicted by Kendrick Lamar, implicitly and explicitly, not like us. The song is the song, whatever you think about it. But the notion itself, big distinction, us versus them. And they're trying to de-black Drake.
De-black.
Right? Oh, he's not really black because he grew up in Canada, I grew up in Compton. Bro, you're reducing blackness to Compton? Did you not know that black people fled America going to Canada to escape the iron tyranny of enslavement? And he ain't black. His daddy is black. He went to Memphis every summer. The Memphis Horns fill his music, the first albums Drake made. His grandmama babysat Aretha Franklin. Really? And his uncle is Larry Graham from Sly and the Family Stone. How much, what black card he got to show? And on his album, Damn, that won the Pulitzer Prize, I like to remind the acolytes of Mr. Lamar that he says, I ain't black, don't call me black no more, because he was into black Hebrew stuff. And Drake said, light skin, but still a dark N-word.
Why did it just get so loud all of a sudden? What the flip?
Word. So I'm saying, that's your God?
In the aftermath of him making these comments, Jay apparently got on the phone and had a frank, thorough discussion with Dyson.
Some people think, well, it ain't that serious, and that's not what's going on. My job as a scholar is to show you that stuff you didn't think was that serious might be a bit more serious than you think. I could be wrong, just to be sure. So I don't say it with the kind of arrogance that some of my interlocutors on the internet have suggested. And let me tell you something. A very dear and good friend of mine disagrees with me bitterly. Well, I won't say bitterly, just aggressively and vigorously. His name is Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. Now, I don't usually talk about the conversations that Jay-Z and I have because that's between us. That's why we remain friends. friends because I ain't out here blabbing about what we talk about. But he hit me up and he vigorously disagreed with my particular position. He said it with dignity. He said it with respect. He articulated his ideal intelligently. I responded to him. We went back and forth for a minute, and I shared with him my essay, the 3,000 some word essay I wrote in the Philadelphia paper, where I break down what's going on between Kendrick and Drake. And he was respectful. What I love about Jay is that he's not arrogant, and he's got more reason to be arrogant than anybody we talking to, including myself, on this darn internet.
And in a testament to the power Sean Carter and Roc Nation has, it was just days before he backpedaled and apologized for even sharing that private discourse.
Why would he know that? Because he conducted one of the most famous rap battles in the history of the art form. And so I mischaracterized him. He said, it ain't that serious. He wasn't vigorously disagreeing with me. It's not like he called me and said that. And even on the text, he literally said, it's not that serious. So I want to apologize to him. And the reason I clarified my position in the first place is because he made that distinction between Trump and Kendrick that I wanted to make clear that I completely understood and did not intend. So God bless you all on this morning. Rest in peace, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Jay-Z, my sincerest apologies. Much love to you.
And because of how we know how Jay moves, people predicted exactly what was going to go down after the initial post. Apparently, Eric's going to be making another apology video to Jay-Z soon, and a video of how a true fan he is. In every instance, it seems like Roc Nation wants everyone to fall in line, and one man who learned this is none other than independent rap mainstay Russ. Over the past while, Jay's company unveiled what was known as the Roc Nation Distribution Dashboard, designed to get their music out to 200 plus streaming services, while also managing their royalties. All artists currently signed to Roc Nation were folded into this system, complete with big promises to revolutionize the game as we know it. However, not everybody was sold on the concept, and it was promptly criticized by Russ for being nowhere near as revolutionary or artist-friendly as they'd like to pretend. An 85-15 split to press upload is madness. Major labels take 15% distro off the top too, so it seems like they just modeled the business off of that. If you're an artist, this makes no sense to sign up for, in my opinion. From there, he continued to break down exactly why the whole thing wasn't the answer that it was proposed as. Major label distribution comes bundled with major label services, a team, radio, marketing, global offices, sales teams, editorial leverage, etc. Roc Nation distro platform is a self-serve uploader with none of those services, and yet charging the same 15 major labels to do the economics doesn't make sense when the entire market norm is 0 to 10% and only charging percentage when they add services. Straight off the bat, not everyone agreed with him, with Simba suggesting it functioned as a scouting program more than your average distribution platform.
But he broke down everything for me, and what he told me is this is not just a distribution service, it's a pool to find superstars, right? So what they're looking for is they hired a team. They have teams of people that's sitting there looking for whatever's gaining traction, right? They have a whole staff of people that they hired that's sitting there watching. This is getting views, this is getting views, this is increasing, this is increasing. Who's this artist? We should contact them. This is a 24/7 thing that they're doing. Russ is saying, I don't believe in that, right? In the same way Russ will say that's kind of like upselling people, someone like Roc Nation could say, well, TuneCore is kind of doing a similar thing because you can upload music to TuneCore for like $20 or whatever it may be, but then they might tell you got to spend an extra $100 to get this campaign.
Later, Russ essentially tried to downplay the issues, claiming that the reservations he had weren't as serious as they made it out to be.
With Roc Nation, it wasn't a knock at Roc Nation or Jay-Z. It was just, look, this is a self-uploading distro service. That's it. And there's a million of these, and it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's places where you can do it and keep 100%. So why would you give 15? Yeah, but it's Roc Nation. It's like, what do you think? You're going to get a Jay-Z feature tomorrow? Like, are you fucking slow? What are you talking about?
Half the time, the people that own the label don't even see that. They have a whole team that runs the distro.
It's not even, what's crazy, it's not even like a Empire distribution or something like that.
Right. It's
literally TuneCore and DistroKid.
Yeah.
But just under the umbrella of Roc Nation, so it's like sexier.
Yeah.
You think that shit though, like, I bet you I'm gonna go to the brunch though.
But it's clear that he had his wings clipped a little, with Russ revealing that he'd been reached out to by journalist and Roc Nation mouthpiece Brian B. Miller to walk back his comments.
Did they respond to you saying anything?
Not directly.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get invited to the Roc Nation
Not
brunch.
directly. No, but it's cool, man. There's I'm cool with B. You know.
Yeah.
And sometimes Jay-Z will like send him messages to tell me. That's happened like 4 or 5 times.
Oh shit!
I'll be all right. Well, just tell him that. Can you give him my number? I'm happy to talk.
We can clear this up right now.
But it's always like it's always been super respectful, like mutually. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah.
So he knows after I told B-Dot, like it wasn't some knock on you. It was like just talking about the economics of the deal.
Of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Although it can be a bitter pill to swallow, there are clear reasons why most people will ease up when it comes to dealing with The Rock. Because when all else fails, they will hit the critics where it hurts, their pockets. Recently, Rock Nation affiliated lawyer Marcy Croft is suing Tony Busby of defamation for $25 million. Yet, while this could easily be a squabble between two legal minds, it seems to be no coincidence the man spearheading lawsuits against Jay-Z following Diddy's downfall is now looking at a major settlement. Then there's Desiree Perez's daughter, Demoria Hadley. Amid a major issue between the two, Demoria claims her mom used unlawful means to have her falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act. She claimed that the CEO employed her money, power, and influence to tear apart Hadley and her husband Javon, creating an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot, to essentially try to separate me from my husband and to falsely accuse him of domestic violence. But as expected, Rock Nation had a plan to combat it, and following Demoria taking part in an interview with Tasha K, they claimed that the daughter affirmatively violated the court's special order, and publicized an interview she gave out about this case to further influence public perception. Basically, it appears that they will do anything to get their intended outcome, and in the eyes of the recently deposed Aiden Ross, they're getting paid handsomely to do so.
Let's talk about my deposition today, okay? I had a deposition. I do want to make it very clear to you guys, I stood my ground a little bit.
The way Aiden Ross is so involved in hip-hop now, like, it's mad how we actually got to this position, innit? But we could all see it coming, like, all the, you know I'm saying, collaborations with rappers, you know I'm saying, getting into contact with people with bad connections in the industry. Brody James, LeBron. It makes sense still, but it's just mad how connected and how deep into hip hop and involved he is now. You know what I'm saying? That others but as bro don't talk about Rock Nation's doing.
Talk about my deposition today, okay? I had a deposition. I do want to make it very clear to you guys, I stood my ground a little bit. I did get bitched as well. Very scared of these little Rock Nation guys, right? But dude, these guys are making a bag, bro. Yo, listen, guys. Bro, these Rock Nation lawyers, bro, they're getting paid a bag, a very big bag. Like, yo, bro. Like, in my opinion, I feel like they're getting like at least $20K an hour. Oh nah.
Aiden's run-in with the lawyers was in relation to Megan Thee Stallion, and similarly to the streamer, Academics also feels they're playing dirty. In both occasions, these depositions were supposed to be centered on the case of Milagro Grams, a gossip blogger who was being sued by Megan Thee Stallion's team for defamation. But in Act's mind, it actually was enlisted to target a whole bunch of other enemies. Just did my second Rock Nation Megan Thee Stallion deposition, he tweeted today. That law firm was wasting Jay-Z money. This time they tried to act right. No more Nicki and Drake questions. Shout out to the Jersey federal judge keeping Rock Nation in line. They're harassing real dudes. I believe Nicki. There is no way that they think they're getting millions from Milagro, he continued. So why spend hundreds of thousands to ask stupid questions about other people? My thought, they got a multi-million budget for attorneys to bully anybody who speaks against them to try to silence them. Rock Nation and Meg had to spend over $150,000 on all the deposition shit with me. They got 10 lawyers on there watching, taking notes the first time, and don't want to talk about Milagro or Meg, lol. They wanted Drake and Nicki, lol. Who funding this? Math ain't making sense. Try as they might, the negative publicity and controversy swirling around The Rock just keeps coming, as they're even fighting in their sports endeavors too. Recently, they announced that they'd signed RB Leipzig's new soccer prospect, Jan Jamande, only for another company to claim that they renewed their contract with the player on January 1st, and later released a statement insisting that he remains contractually bound to them. At the moment, people are also digging deep into their connections to Live Nation, a company which is coming under heavy fire at the moment from the DOJ. It's long been suspected that they are essentially rinsing fans, and recent documents unsealed in the lawsuit has revealed the extent of the greed, with executives laughing about $50 charges for parking in the grass, and $60 for closer grass, alongside claiming that concert goers are stupid. Despite Jay-Z's $200 million ties to the company, Roc Nation is unlikely to condemn this, and will instead just try and put up as much distance between them and the scandal as possible. With so much controversy surrounding the label, talk has turned to what they'll do about it from here on out. And at the moment, people like academics think that the impending new album is a smokescreen, with other gestures likely to be thrown in to aid in pushing all the controversy aside.
I'm gonna watch this cycle because this is gonna be the cycle that shows how quickly they could get you to move on if they just throw some music in your face and throw like a big presentation. Man, fuck all them questions you asking. Let me perform Dead Presidents. I want to see if it happens again. This will be an amazing spectacle, and I want to see how it... So, you know, already it's happening. I'll let you know it's happening. You're gonna hear some big announcements soon, y'all. Oh, hey, we're donating this, and there's gonna be a donation too. I'm telling you this. We're donating this. We're doing this for charity. You gotta make it the Trojan horse thing. You can't look a gift horse in its mouth. They're gonna be enamored with, oh my God, look at this guy. He's so powerful. Look, he used AI to recreate Reasonable Doubt. Look, there's a movie. There's this. Watch.
However they choose to move from here, it's obvious that Roc Nation has a reputational issue that makes people willing to assume the worst about how they move. And if they're not careful, that can be good for their future prospects in entertainment, business, or anywhere in between. It's your boy Louaista, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Damn, boy, I'm still tired. Bro, that is crazy, bro. Roc Nation is a dodgy label. Jay-Z dodgy, Beyonce dodgy, Diddy dodgy, Diddy's son dodgy. All of them are dodgy. You get me dodgy, no dodgy. Word. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Show the boy love. And thoughts and remember my collab.